Today we are going to start a very important topic, and that is basically dimensions and dimension analysis. This chapter is very important from the point of view that one question almost comes in JEE Mains and the NEET exams. So let's first try to understand what is dimension. So before understanding dimension, let's quickly see that what we have done in the chapter of units and dimensions. We said that universe is a physical world. For us, universe is a physical world. We don't see it as a art or beauty. And everything in physics, while studying universe, we define it as a physical quantity. Okay, and we went further ahead and classified those physical quantities as fundamental quantities and derived quantities, or we said it as seven fundamental and the seven base quantities, and the rest of all were derived quantities for us. And then we went ahead and we said, okay, if these are the physical quantities, we have to measure it. And to measure these physical quantities, we need some reference, and we define the units for measuring the physical quantities. Now what next? So let us take a physical object, let's say cube. And if I give this cube to you, what will you measure? Okay, someone will measure the mass of that cube. That is a fundamental quantity or the base quantity. Someone will measure the length of the cube. That's again a base quantity or the fundamental quantity. Someone will try to find out the volume of the cube, and volume is a derived quantity. Okay. Someone else will try to find out what is the density of the material of which the cube is made up, and you see that this density is again a derived quantity. Someone will try to measure the temperature of the surface of the cube, and the temperature which we study is basically thermodynamic temperature in the physics, and it's again a base quantity or the fundamental quantity, and many things. So if a physical object is given to anyone, let's say cube, people may find out different physical quantities of that cube and measure it. So when we measure the derived quantity, let's say when someone measured the volume or someone measured the density, what did they actually measure? We measure mass. We measure mass, that is a fundamental quantity. We measure length, which is a fundamental quantity, to calculate volume. Because the reason is that what I'm trying to find out, I am trying to measure the derived quantity, which is density. Now to measure density, I have to calculate basically density. What I have to do is I have to measure the mass and I have to measure the length. After measuring length and mass, what do I need? I'll calculate the volume, and from the volume I can calculate the density. What if you want to color the surface of the cube? If you want to color the surface of the cube, what do we need? We need the surface area. We need the surface area. Now for surface area, what we have to do? We measure the length. So to find any derived quantity, we measure the fundamental quantity, and these fundamental quantities are known as the 7 dimensions of the physical world. So basically, when you want to define the dimension, we still not define the dimension, but we see that for any derived quantity, we are basically supposed to measure the fundamental quantity, and from those fundamental quantities, we can derive the derived quantities. So we call these 7 fundamental quantities as the dimensions, as the 7 dimensions of the physical world. Let's try to understand again, what do I mean by 7 dimensions of the physical world and how do we represent it? First of all, let's come to the representation part of it. Dimensions are represented in a square bracket. I'll come to what is dimension again, okay? I have not explained actually what is dimension. You've just seen that to measure any derived quantities, we need to measure the fundamental quantities, and we have said that these 7 fundamental quantities are basically the 7 dimensions of the universe, okay? So first off, let's see how to represent it. So we represent the dimensions in the square brackets. So if the length will represent is L enclosed in this square bracket. For mass, I will say this capital M enclosed in this square bracket. For temperature, capital T enclosed in this square bracket, and dot dot dot. For all the seven fundamental quantities, we can represent them by the 7 dimensions. Sorry, this is not temperature, this is for time. This term is basically, this is not temperature, this is time. It's a typing mistake. So temperature is basically represented by K. This is basically time, which is representing the T. Okay. Now dimensions of any quantity, derived quantity. When I mean by quantity, derived quantity can be calculated by multiplying and dividing other dimensions. Okay. So when I say dimension of any derived quantity can be calculated by multiplying and dividing the other dimensions, what do I mean? Say I want to find the volume of any object. Okay. So what is the volume of any object? It is a product of length, breadth and height. Or we say okay, to find the volume of any object, what we need is the 3 lengths. So dimension of volume is length multiplied by breadth, which is again length, multiplied by height, which is again length. So this is equal to L cube, and we take 3 inside the bracket because this is the convention for writing. So if you want to write the dimension of the volume is given like this, L cube, or we say that volume has 3 dimensions in length. What do you understand is that the volume has 3 dimensions in length, breadth and height. Now this volume is independent of mass and time, and rest all fundamental quantities, but in mechanics we are only interested in length, mass and time. As and when we'll move in further into physics, we'll take into consider other base quantities, but let's right now consider length, mass and time. So what we see, volume doesn't have any role of mass and time, so we can say that it possesses 0 dimension in mass, that is m to the power 0, and it possesses 0 dimension in time, that is t to the power 0. So basically you can write m to the power 0, L to the power 3, t to the power 2, t to the power 0, or you can simply write L to the power 3. Rest nothing is mentioned, that means all the powers for those are 0. Let's say you want to represent velocity. Velocity is what? Length divided by time. We say more rigorous definition is displacement per unit time. So it is L t to the power minus 1. What we can say is its dimension is 1 in length and minus 1 in time. Let's take another physical quantity, which is momentum. Momentum is defined as mass into velocity. Mass is represented by m and velocity will be represented by L t to the power minus 1, as I have defined above. So I can say that the dimension of the momentum, we can say it's 1 in mass, 1 in length and minus 1 in time. You see here, it's minus 1 in time. So the dimensions of the momentum will be 1 in mass, 1 in length and minus 1 in time. So now we are in the position to give the definition of dimension. So what is the definition of dimension? Dimension of the physical quantity are the powers to which the fundamental quantities must be raised to represent the given physical quantity. What we have to do? We have to take the fundamental quantities and raise it to the appropriate power to represent the physical quantity. Like for example, we did in the last sheet, for velocity, we took the 2 fundamental quantities, length and time, because they represent velocity, and we raised it to the appropriate power. Length was raised to the power 1 and time was raised to the power -1. Similarly, for the momentum, mass m was raised to power 1, length was raised to power 1 and time was raised to power -1, and we are able to find out the dimensions of momentum. So basically we raise the fundamental quantities to the appropriate power. Now the question comes to our mind is, why do we need dimension? Because length, mass, time has already been defined as fundamental quantities. Length, mass, time, temperature, current, amount of substance, and luminous intensities. These 7 things have been already defined as fundamental quantities. You already defined the units to measure it. Like let's say for length, the unit is meter. For time, the unit is seconds. For temperature, the unit is Kelvin. For current, the unit is ampere. Now, when you already defined units for the fundamental quantities, why do we need these fundamental quantities to be treated as the 7 dimensions of the universal world? That clearly means that these dimensions helps a lot in the physics, and they add value to us when we study physics. So let's see what value it's add. For example, consider velocity. The unit for velocity is, in SI unit, is meter per second. Okay, but in FPS system it will be feet per second, or someone can say velocity in kilometer per hour. So basically in different systems we have different units for the velocity. In SI system it is meter per second, in FPS system it's feet per second, in MKS system it can be kilometer per hour, or you can have other units also like centimeter per second or miles per second or yards per second or yards per hour. But regardless of that dimension, whatever dimension you use, the length is always divided by time, and the dimension will always be L t to the power -1. Regardless of that, the dimension part will be always L t to the power -1. So one thing is slightly clear, that we can have different units, but the dimensions will be same. But again, we need to understand in some more depth that why do we need dimensions. Okay, let us try to understand by the simple example. A particle is moving with a constant speed of 5 meters per second for 10 seconds. How much distance the particle traveled? Okay, the question is very simple. We all know that if a particle is traveling at a distance of speed of 5 meters per second for 10 seconds, it will travel a distance of 50 meters. But let's try to understand this problem. If we try to verify d is equal to velocity into time, please try to understand what I am saying is, if we try to verify, I am emphasizing on the word verify, d is equal to v into t. So for verification, what I'll do is, velocity is what? 5 meters per second, and time is what? 10 seconds. So distance traveled will be in the meters, right? Distance traveled will be in meters. So distance traveled is velocity in time is 5 meters per second multiplied by 10 seconds. I'll rearrange it. 5 into 10. This will give me the number meter per second multiplied by second. So second in the numerator will cancel by the second in the denominator, and our answer will be 50 meter. So on the right hand side I am getting 50 meter. I know that distance is measured in meter, so I can easily verify that, okay, d on the left hand side is in meters, and on the right hand side my answer is 50 meter. Perfect. So I am able to verify this equation. But if I say that this object traveled with the speed of 5 meters per second, I am still saying with the speed of 5 meters per second, but now for the 1 hour. I am not giving you time in seconds, but now I am giving you time in 1 hour. So how much distance it has traveled? Okay, let's try to do the same exercise. D is equal to 5 meters per second into 1 hour. I'll rearrange it. 5 into 1 meter per second multiplied by hour. Now the numerator and the denominator, seconds and hour, does not cancel with each other. That does not cancel each other. So I have to do some conversion. So we need to convert 1 hour into seconds. We know 1 hour is 60 minutes, and 1 minute is 60 seconds. So 1 hour is 3600 seconds. So D is 5 meter per second multiplied by 3. And now second will cancel with second, and I get the answer is 1800 meter. But you see, the problem with the second part is I have to do this conversion here. And then finally I said that, okay, the distance traveled is 1800 meter. And I know that the distance traveled is always in meters. So the left hand side, the dimension meter, unit is meter. And the right hand side also I'm getting the meter. What I started with is, I said, let us try to verify. So with if I'm giving you different units, then the verification part is not that easy. That means if I want to verify something, dimensions are going to help me. And it's not just simple this verification part. There are a lot of other applications where this use of the dimensions or the dimension analysis makes our work or our life in the physics lot easier. What are it? It helps us to check the dimensional correctness of a given relation. So let's, for example, you say that in kinematics in your 9th class you studied V is equal to U plus AT, or S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Now these are the correct equations you know. But suppose if I give you V is equal to U plus AT square. Now this equation is wrong. Dimensional analysis help us to verify the correctness of the equation. With the help of the dimensional analysis, we can verify whether V is equal to U plus AT square is correct or wrong. It helps us to convert unit from one system to another. For example, when you measure energy in SI system, the unit for energy is joules. And in CGS system, the units for energy is ergs, ERGS, ergs. Now, if I want to find out what is the relationship between 1 joule and erg, if you know, then the relationship is 1 joule is 10 to the power 5 ergs. But this dimensional analysis can help us to convert 1 joule into erg, can help us to derive the relationship 1 joule is 10 to the power 5 ergs. It also helps us to find the dimensions of the physical constants or coefficients. Now, what is this? For example, if you study the chapter of gravitation in your 9th and 10th class, you may have read the formula F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square, where G was known as a universal gravitational constant. But one thing is that this G is not simple constant. This G also has the dimensions associated with it. Like the dimension, the unit of force is Newton, and mass is kilogram, and distance is in meter. This G is not a dimensionless number, but it has a dimension. So now what is the dimension of this G? Now with the help of this dimension analysis, we can find out the dimensions of such constants. It is also used as a research tool to derive new relations. And that is to derive the relationship between physical quantity and a physical phenomena. For example, let's set this example same. Force equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. Dimension analysis helps us to find out that, okay, the force between two mass actually depends upon the product of the masses. You know the formula F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square, but dimension analysis helps us to understand this physical phenomena. Even in this dimension analysis, we can understand that the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Okay, so we'll do all these questions in the coming time, but these are the known results to us. But when the scientists do some research, they try to find out in a particular phenomena on which this particular physical quantity depends upon which other physical quantity, and in what proportion, in what like it's proportional to the square of that, or the square root of that, or cube of that, or some other functions. Okay. Before going for the dimension analysis part, let us understand what is the law of homogeneity. Law of homogeneity of dimensions. It says that the magnitudes of the physical quantity may be added together or subtracted from one another only if they have the same dimensions. So you are allowed to add or subtract only if we have the same dimensions. What does this mean? If I want to add velocity into force, it's not permissible, because you cannot compare apple and oranges. So there's no point in adding velocity and force. If you try to add velocity with force, you'll not get any other meaningful physical quantity. Similarly, if you try to subtract electric current from thermodynamic temperature, doesn't make any sense. So if I want to add velocity, I can only add velocity to velocity. If I want to add or subtract temperature, I can only add temperature to another temperature, or I can subtract temperature from another temperature. I cannot add or subtract two different physical quantities. Since I cannot add or subtract two different physical quantities, it means I can only add or subtract those physical quantities which have the same dimensions. Okay. So two physical quantities having same dimensions can only be added or subtracted, but there is no such restriction in division and multiplication. Remember, I have not said anything about multiplication and division. Like we multiplied mass with velocity and we got momentum. So mass has a different dimension, m to the power 1. Velocity is a dimension of L to the power 1, T to the power minus 1. These two have different dimensions, but multiplication of two different physical quantities of different dimensions is allowed. Division of two physical quantities of different dimensions is allowed, but addition and subtraction of two different physical quantities having different dimensions is not allowed. Before going into the applications of the dimensional analysis, let me define two more things. One is dimensional formula and the another is dimensional equation. Whatever we express right now, like when we express the dimension of velocity, we said the dimension of the velocity is 1 in L length and minus 1 in time. When we represent this in the square bracket, that is known as a dimensional formula. So the dimension for the volume will be, volume is L cube. We can write m to the power 0, t to the power 0, or we can ignore it and we can simply write L cube. That is also fine. If you simply write L cube, that's also fine. And if you write m to the power 0, t to the power 0, that's also fine. Similarly, for the speed, when you write m to the power 0, L to the power 1, t to the power minus 1 in this square bracket, then this is basically known as the dimensional formula. An equation obtained by equating a physical quantity with its dimensional formula is called the dimensional equation of the physical quantity. Now, this is the dimensional formula for volume. This is the dimensional formula for the velocity. When we equate the physical quantity with its dimensional formula, we get a dimensional equation. You know what is an equation? Equation is something where A is equal to B. Whenever two expressions are separated by the equal to sign, we say it's an equation. So the dimensional equation of the volume force may be expressed as V. Now this, what is this V? This is my physical quantity and this is the dimensional formula for the volume. When I write like this, V is equal to m to the power 0, L to the power 3, to the power 0. This is known as dimensional equation. Or let's say for the force, which is mass into acceleration, and the dimensions of the force is m, L, t to the power minus 2, and we write F is equal to m, L to the power minus 2. This is known as the dimensional equation. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll end this lecture here, and in the next lecture I will try to come up with the benefits or the usefulness of the dimensional analysis. Thank you very much.